Welcome to this video. Today we will be doing a test and review of the free version of Bitdefender. And what I've got here is a folder full of samples of malware. We've got a total of 10 samples. Keep that number in mind, because what we're going to do is we're going to scan the computer with the free version of Bitdefender to see how many of these samples it will detect. And then whatever it does not detect, we will try to execute to see if Bitdefender will then block the execution of that file. Now we can see, actually, spoiler alert, it looks like it's already started to detect some samples there. So I will still do the scan here in just a moment, but I do want to mention that Windows 10 is up to date as of today. However, with the free version of Bitdefender, I cannot find an option to update the definitions. Now, I've worked with a lot of different antivirus software, and I can say most definitely have an update button, and so I don't know if I'm just missing something or if the free version really does not have an update option. So if I'm missing something and one of you out there know the answer, please let me know. But as far as I know, it is up to date. I just installed it, so we'll go ahead and run this scan, and we'll be back with the results here in just a moment. Alright, the scan just completed, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, but I did notice a notification that popped up about an update that has just recently finished. So I guess my question has been answered, that it does update automatically as an antivirus should. But as far as I know, again, there's no manual update button on the free version of Bitdefender, and I do think it's important to have one just so you can verify that the program is indeed updating and not failing. But I will assume that Bitdefender will throw an error message if it fails to do so. Now back to the scan. Again, you can see that the scan did complete and that it found 0 threats. Now again, while I was talking earlier, there were notifications popping up that threats had been detected even before the scan. So if I open up the samples folder that had 10 samples originally, it looks like it detected 4 of those and then detected 0 on the scan itself. So what I'm going to do is close the folder here for just a moment. I'm just going to right click on the samples folder and scan it directly with Bitdefender. Bitdefender was scanning the folder directly and then it crashed, and now this message has popped up. Bitdefender did not want to open, so I restarted the computer and now it is open. So again, back to the samples folder. It looks like it may have detected at least 2 of those, but we're going to go ahead and scan it again here directly. Alright, the scan has completed and it's showing that it detected 4 results, and so we're going to go ahead and apply actions, or correction, after selecting an action. Now we will click apply actions. And then we'll go ahead and close Bitdefender there and check our sample list. And so there's still 2 pieces of malware in that folder. So I'm going to scan it just one more time just to make sure, because Bitdefender is behaving a little strangely each time I scan. It almost looks like it wants to crash each time, so I'll run it just one more time. Alright, it's definitely not detecting those last 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to execute them and see what happens. So we'll go ahead and execute the top one first. Now here's an important note. Windows Smart Screen is popping up blocking this piece of malware, and so what I'm going to do is disable Windows Smart Screen just so we can see if Bitdefender does or does not detect it. But please make a note, this may not be reflective of a real world scenario, just because the average user is not going to disable Windows Smart Screen. They're going to have it active. Now there are situations where it can become broken and not working, and so that is a possibility, but again, in most situations, Smart Screen is going to be turned on. Alright, we can see here that we now have Smart Screen turned off for everything, and so I'm going to close that and we're going to try to execute the file again. And we're also going to try to execute the second one. I don't see anything popping up from Bitdefender at all. Alright, and then we're going to run another system scan to see if it detects anything. Alright, the second full system scan did complete and found 0 threats. However, I do want to point out these 2 notifications here, and it looks like it did block the execution of both those samples, and it has removed both of them from the folder. So it does appear it did detect them after I executed those files. Now I did run additional scans just to make sure that Bitdefender did not miss anything or leave anything behind. And so we can see here with Malwarebytes, it did come back clean and detected 0 result. Also ran a scan with MZSoft and it also came back clean with 0 results. Hitman Pro also looks good with 0 results detected. And then last, I ran Zamana, which also came back clean with 0 results detected. It is important to note that I did have to remove Bitdefender before I could run Zamana as they are not compatible. In short, Bitdefender did detect 100% of the malware samples, 10 out of 10. Now a couple things to note, it did detect right off the bat 4 of those 10 results before I even ran a scan. Then when I did run a scan, it did not detect anything additionally, but it did detect 4 additional results when I scanned the folder directly. So what that tells me is when you do a scan with Bitdefender, the free version, it does not scan the entire system. It's only looking in common places or where malware is commonly found. And then last, when I executed those last 2 samples, Bitdefender did detect those and block those as well. So again, it blocked and detected 100% of those samples. As a last thought, I think Bitdefender is a good program as far as protection, but the program itself or the application is bare bones. It doesn't have very many options. Compared to Avast, which I've already reviewed, it doesn't have very many settings or customization. As well as I did notice that the program itself seems to run a little questionably at times. Sometimes it seems to want to crash or it isn't quite as smooth. But again, overall, I think it is a good program when speaking about security and protection specifically. Just if you're wanting more customization, more settings, you may want to look at a different option. That's everything for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that was helpful and informative. If you have any comments or questions, please post them down below. And as always, I hope you have a